Do you want to know how Karachi looks like? How it feels when you're standing on Johor Moor waiting for a bus? Or crossing the Shara Faisal to get to Clifton to feel the ocean breeze? Do you know how loud and buzzing Sadr is or how calming the drive is across Lyari Expressway in the middle of the night? There's only one way to find out. Watch Saim Ayub bat. He has encapsulated the attitude, the grit, the jugaad, and the swagger of Karachi. And I am proud to tell you that the Karachi agenda has never been louder than it has today. Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast. My name is Nader Sayed, and this is an episode about Saim Ayub and the greatness of Karachi. Today, we're talking about the Pakistan versus South Africa series wrap up. With me, as always, is my brother, diehard Karachiite, Bashar Sayed.
Hello and welcome back. As we stand, the third T20I has been washed out.
Yep.
Some will say God's blessings have fallen and Pakistan has avoided a 3-0 whitewash.
Yeah.
The way they were playing, 3-0 was on the cards. But I think on this episode, we want to break down the series, what we learned in the past two matches, some takeaways, and how Pakistan can improve as a T20 side.
Lots of responses from our first T20I breakdown. People had a lot to say. We got a lot of messages privately and then on the comments as well. There were some rights that were wrong. There were some wrongs that were righted in the second T20I, which we'll have to touch upon. And I'm still buzzing from that Saim Ayub innings, even though it was towards a loss, but it was a statement innings. And I tweeted it from the Backward Point account. Saim Ayub is single-handedly pushing this regressive Pakistan team into modernity. And I believe that. I think, I'm sure we'll go into depth about the Saim Ayub of it all, but it just showed us that if you put the right time and effort into just honing in skills of these players that are genuinely talented, like Saim is, then they will yield the results, even if it has to be after 27 T20Is or whatever the record is. It's just the guy who has it all. He has the flair, he has the spark in it, and it's just the management that has to believe in that spark and give him the run that he needs.
Another place that has it all is Yashi Sports.
There we go.
And that is Canada's home of cricket. And I think they have expert advice. They got high quality equipment and they've got exceptional customer service. You go into Yashi Sports, it feels like you have walked into home, or I would say Canada's home of cricket.
Boom, boom, boom. If you use the BP10 code that we have in the bottom screen here, you can 10% off your purchase, Bashar.
I think it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. It's end of the year. Holidays are coming in. Trying to spend some money. Trying to get a new bat. Trying to get some pads for the next season.
It's the guys, I know those holiday bonuses are coming in. This is the time. Treat yourself. You deserve it. You've worked hard all year long. Now is the time. Get yourself that $500 bat that you will use to get nicked out in the first over.
Lovely message. How hard did Saim Ayub work in the second T20I?
Saim Ayub with the GM bat is a totally different batsman. Like it seems like he has left all his scars behind with
MB.
The MB. a Pakistani brand, GM, UK brand. Pakistanis thrive when they leave Pakistan, and Saim Ayub's batting is thriving once he has left a Pakistani batting brand.
So let's set up the stage for what Saim did and what basically happened in the first T20I that allowed this to happen. The first T20I, we had the return of Rizbar, the millionth return of Rizbar. And it was just, I think at that point, way too much. Some would say the cause of that defeat in the first T20I was Rizbar's presence. There was a lot of flack, a lot of pushback. This podcast is one of the first ones to be like, hey, you guys cannot keep doing this. Not to us, not to the fans. We've endured too much. And lo and behold, something clicked and we had a change. And Saim Ayub walks in with Rizwan. Rizwan is having a horrible T20 run right now. The one game that I think was in his wheelhouse to win single-handedly, he bottled, which was the Pakistan versus India game earlier this year in New York. After that, he just hasn't really recovered in T20Is. I always had my doubts. There are definitely flares. There were definitely moments where he may have exceeded his own expectations, his own limitations. When 52 for 0 comes to mind, chasing, on the same ground that they lost, they chased a 205, I believe, in 2021 with Babar, I think, hitting 122. That was fine. Like, Rizwan really helped with that. But something's off, clearly. And I don't know who's going to sit him down and how do you sit out your captain? That's the question right now. So It goes back to the management being completely wrong with the decision of giving him T20 captainship. Red ball and white ball are completely different games, but ODI is more related to or more closely akin to Test match cricket than it is to T20 cricket. T20 it's a completely different beast altogether. It's not even half the overs of ODI. It's like less than that. So it's just the wrong call in all departments. I would have loved to see somebody new in that helming that side. I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to be the captain to the 2026 World Cup? I don't know. Um, they have Salman Liaga waiting, but I don't even know if he's the right choice. Lots of questions, not enough answers, but it's definitely it's a given now that Rizwan has to go, right? There's nothing else to be said about this.
5 years ago, I used to own an Android device and Windows laptop. Nothing wrong with that, but just I couldn't afford buying an Apple iPhone. And then fast forward a few years later, I could buy an iPhone. And then slowly and gradually, I realized that the Apple ecosystem, once everything is in sync, is the greatest thing ever invented. I mean, I have my soul sold to Tim Cook. Tim cooked. And the one thing I would say is like the same analogy I would use for Rizbar, that there was a time and place for it when we didn't have any backup openers, or when the style of play that they used was working for us in that very limited amount of time. But I do think Rizbar has overstayed its welcome. And now is the time where you identify attacking players who can play in the top order and you give them a long run, you back them. Players like Saim Ayub, I think what Pakistan has done with Saim Ayub is exceptional. They've given him a long run in T20Is. I mean, 25 plus innings where he was averaging 15 with the bat, 120 strike rate. I mean, any other batsman, he would not have gotten half those matches that Saim has gotten. So credits to the PCB for sticking with him, for backing him. But the way he needs to play is as an opener, and you need to give him that freedom and that security that regardless if he scores a 15 ball 30 or 48 ball 90, whatever it is, we're going to back him. We're going to stick with him because you can't use AirPods with a Windows laptop. It doesn't sync as well. All those things have to be in line, in synergy for it to work.
Now, why do you think the PCB chose Saim Ayub to give that extended run? What was about him? Was it the pressure of social media? Was it the fans pushing them? Because you're right, 27 matches, 25th innings was his first half century in T20Is. His average not so great, 21.65 right now, but before that it was below 20. His strike rate 137.95, quite high, but still, one of those things where what was the justification of this long run, do you think?
I think if you analyze Saim's whole career, he's a product of domestic cricket. Like he's been through the under 15s, under 19s, and he was identified as the next big batting talent in Pakistan. The first PSL he played for was for Quetta Gladiators. He was opening with Chris Gale, flopped that whole PSL. Quetta drops him, goes to Zalmi, and he works really hard in that 1 year that he was dropped from Quetta, and he gets picked for Zalmi. He played the National T20 Cup, and he was the player of the tournament, I think highest run scorer. And he really improved his batting. And a lot of the credit that goes is to Hanif Malik, shout out to Islamabad United. And he worked on his power hitting, on his mental game, he was reading books, he was improving himself as a human being, and just his mindset. You heard him in the post-match after the second game. He was not sad about missing a century. In fact, he said that I would rather the team win with my 98 versus me getting a century and the team losing. So you need the sort of selfless players to play for Pakistan. And just Saim's record in the CPL, his record in the PSL, domestic, all of those signs indicate that we have a special batsman within us.
I totally agree. And we had somewhat of a controversial figure right now, which Azam Khan came out in support of Saim. Did you read that post?
I saw his story.
What do you think about that?
I absolutely agree with it. And I think it is a tragedy, and I use the word tragedy, that players like Haider Ali, that players like Mohammad Haris, the players like Rohail Nazir, Hasibullah, Azam Khan have not gotten a consistent long run within the Pakistani T20 setup. 2 matches here, 3 matches there, 1 match there, and suddenly they're gone. And it takes a long time to go back into domestic, to grind again, to score runs and come back into the Pakistan team. I mean, we spoke to Heather early in Islamabad United, and he seemed kind of lost to where he is because he played his whole career as a top order batsman at under 19s, and even his debut for Pakistan in England was at number 3. And suddenly, the Pakistan management asked him to play the role of a lower order pinch hitter. Like, that's not what he's made for.
Just for some context, Azam said, when you give players consistent chances, that's when they truly have the opportunity to perform at their best. And a lot of news outlets picked it up. We saw it as well. Send him a cheeky little emoji after that. I mean, he's completely right. And it proves. And he's been a big supporter of Saim, even on and off the record as well. I think it's the whole Karachi agenda as well. So Azam Khan is bought into that as well. And Saim is just one of those generational talents. It's not just us who's talking very, very vividly about him. You can look at Rehan al-Haq's podcast, Sporting Myths. He's talking about it as well. He's talked about how Saim Ayub is the most, is his favorite.
Rehan said that he could be Pakistan's greatest white ball batsman of all time.
Greatest white ball batsman of all time. He's his favorite player in the modern era right now. Ahmed Anakwi from Butterfast came onto this podcast and had a whole 10-minute soliloquy about Saim Ayub. You guys can check that out if you want. We'll link it in the description. It's not just us. People are talking vividly about him, and he has been shown great vigor and great just swagger in the domestic and the franchise circuit. It just wasn't translating over into international, which was, more of a question mark, not on his abilities, but more of a question mark on why is it not translating? What is happening in the dugout and in the green room that is maybe hindering his progress over? That might be another podcast for in itself, Bashar, but something has happened. He's broken through the mold. The amber has cracked. He has come out the other side, and Saim Ayub has made a statement 98. I'm kind of happy he didn't get a century. I'm happy. I'll tell you why. I have justification for this. He made a statement 98 for his team because he wanted his team to win. That moment in that he didn't play the last, I want to say 10 deliveries of that game. He just needed 2 runs. Just one delivery would have done justice, but maybe Pakistan would have not have 205. Maybe they would have 202. And, the way that this game was finishing, it was all about margins. It was all about the closest of margins, the barest of margins, to quote Ian Smith. And Saim, right there, played a selfless innings. This is why I'm relating so much to Saim and his struggle in this game to what the city of Karachi goes through. This is why I feel like he's the mascot, the emblem of Karachi. Karachi, the orphan city of Pakistan, right? Going through the struggles, but at the heart of it, still feeding 70% of Pakistan. The heart of Pakistan goes through Karachi. It is the central nervous system of the whole country. And same with Saim Ayub coming out, scoring 98 runs. Kind of not, it won't be forgotten, but it's not 100. So people were like, oh, it wasn't 100. He didn't score a 3-figure thing in T20Is, but still so impactful. More than, almost 50% of the runs were scored by him. When you come out from the top and you score that many runs, it helps lower order batsmen free themselves up. You saw that with Afridi. You saw that with Irfan Khan Niazi. They were able to open their arms up and play those cameo innings that are important. And it's not like Saim Ayub was anchoring or anything. He was hitting at a strike rate of 177, I believe. 172. That's just the style of play that he has. And those weren't like easy bowlers to play. Mafaka, I believe, is just one of those bowlers that it's his ascent is here. He reminds me of like a left-handed Jafar Archer. Like, he's so quick, so snappy, so tall, bullets, rockets coming out of his wrists. And the back and forth between Saim and Mafaka, that is cricket cinema. That is what it's all about. That's the box office price right there. Them going back and forth, a dialogue between bat and ball. That's what I love. That's what we all love to see. And my interest has not peaked into Pakistan cricket this much in a very long time. Yes, they won the series against England 2-1. They just beat Australia 2-1, which also had Saim had a big part in. But just this general attitude shift that I'm sensing from the top order, I didn't see that in a while. I like the swagger that's coming into the team. The sort of, remember that Shoaib Malik popping the collars vibe? That's what the team is sort of ingraining. And it's all coming down from the top to the bottom, which is because of Saim Ayub. So kudos to him. Saim, you're a champ. Come to Backward Point. We'd love to talk to you.
98 to 7 balls, 5 sixes, 11 fours. shots all over the ground. This guy has shots for every occasion, for every bowler. And the one thing he's brought back is the keeping your head still, playing your shot for six, and keeping your head there. We saw the first time being played by Andre Fletcher, Spice Man at the Big Bash. And then Martin Guptill's quite famous of just keeping your head still and swinging your arms to the line of the ball. Saim is doing the same thing. He looks like a very skinny, scrawny guy, but his sixes are massive. He's got proper technique. He's got a good base. And his cover drive is as good as his lock sweep. His straight drive is as good as his no-look flick over fine leg.
He's the complete package, Bashar. The one thing that we keep criticizing Babar Azam about, like Babar Azam, by the way, has also crossed 14,000 international runs for Pakistan. I think he's the fifth batsman to ever do that, or sixth batsman to ever do that.
Fifth for
Pakistan. Insane record. The one thing that we keep criticizing Babar of is he doesn't have a slog sweep shot. He doesn't have that ugly, just whacking the ball, clubbing the ball over mid-wicket. He can't do that. Now, that's because maybe he is too much of an artful player or too much of a tactile player. He doesn't have that quote-unquote jugaad in him. That's what I love about Saim Ayub. Now, jugaad, again, for our English-speaking audience, is an Urdu or Karachi slang for a way to work something out that is unconventional. An unconventional solution to a problem is called jugaad. For example, give me an example of jugaad.
Saim Ayub in the top order.
Great, no, real life example of jugaad. What would you think? Like
you know when you're sitting on a table, the table's like wobbling.
Yes,
and you put a piece of like paper, cardboard underneath the table.
Jugaad it.
That was
jugaad, and that's Saim Ayub's entire innings. Jugaadi innings. He's out there to score runs. He finds the good ball. He gives it respect. Finds a bad ball. It's whacked over. My favorite shot of his innings, Bashar, was that I don't know who he hit it against, but I've been seeing a bunch of Saim Ayub edits, which I'm just like eating up. I posted a few from the Instagram account for Backward Point and the channel that we have there, Loudspeaker. I posted there as well. It's just I'm eating this up. I don't know.
Why is it called Loudspeaker?
I don't know.
Should have called it Backward Pointers.
No, I don't want that to be our trademark. Loudspeaker is like, hey, we're just out here, usually sending voice notes.
Backward Pointers, I'm seeing you.
If you guys want to change our Instagram group thing to Backward Pointers, please let us know. I really don't want to, but if the vote is high enough, if there's enough noise for it, I'll do it. But I've been posting these edits, and
what's the shot?
It's the shot where it's the thing you were talking about, where his head is stable, he's looking straight down, and he just sweeps it.
Yeah.
Who did he hit it at?
Was it George Linde?
I think it was Linde. And it just goes for six, like 93 meters or something. Yeah. Insane beauty shot. And then the second favorite shot was that full toss, a waist high full toss. I think it was Mafaka who he hit it to. Just like a baseball club, like just completely vicious, ugly shot. And, but akin to something that a baseball player would hit. The Toronto Blue Jays sign him up right now. Saim Ayub is available. He'll do it for them. And it was just beautiful to see that innings, man. I was just up on my feet. And something melancholic about not hitting that 100, I like that. Like that's Pakistan, that's Karachi cricket in a nutshell.
We even heard Saim over in the stump mic in the last over when he was talking to Abbas Afridi. What seems like what I can figure from what he said is single matle tumar.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. It's sort of like that. There's a word where the way you hear it is the way it sounds.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So when people say he said single lele, it sounds like single lele.
But when you try to hear single nale, then it sounds like single nale.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what that means.
Urdu language sucks.
But regardless, Abbas Afridi did not take a single. He just kept hitting. Which I think for the betterment of the team is good. There's just one match that happened last year, Pakistan versus New Zealand. Pakistan's batting first in Pindi, and Mohammad Rizwan wastes like the last couple of overs trying to score his 100. In the end, does not get his 100. Also, he wastes delivery, so Pakistan does not get the extra 5-10 runs. What happens in the end is Pakistan loses the match.
10 to 15 runs short.
10 to 15 runs short all the time. And you know what's really interesting? Sohaib Maqsood has just launched his YouTube channel, and he's talking about the Pakistan T20 team, getting a lot of hate, by the way, which I will encourage you guys, go on Twitter, just talk against Rizwan and Babar, and you will see the same 7-10 accounts coming after you, trolling you, bullying you.
I think the fashion has changed a little bit because we've been actively tweeting about our feelings about the whole Rizbar situation, and I haven't felt as much pushback as I have maybe 6 to 8 months ago. What do you think about that?
Maybe they've gone underground.
They can't defend this. Nobody can defend this.
Yeah. So Sohaib Maksud talked about this really cool thing that I thought it was very interesting. He talked about in 2021, the PSL, where he was the highest run scorer player of the tournament. He talked about the fact that Rizwan was opening, and every single match in in Dubai, or was it Abu Dhabi? The point is, Multan would underscore, and then Rizwan would score his 70, 80. And in the post match, he would blame the bowlers and he would blame the middle order for not scoring enough runs or the bowlers for not defending properly. And Sohaib said that Riley Rousseau or other international players would say, like, he's playing the most deliveries. Why is he not taking responsibility? And Riley would often say to them that they're 20 runs short, 30 runs short. And that just shows that Rizwan, Babar, the anchor mindset is that they will play their entire innings. They will play all the deliveries. But in the end, the team will underscore and they will blame the middle order batsmen or the bowlers for not bowling properly. That is completely wrong.
What do you think about the pushback where they say, hey, if you play all attacking players, then the team goes out all out for 100? They won't even make 100.
I'd rather the team be all out for 100 than the team scoring 150 on a 190 pitch, or them scoring like 200 on a 230, 240 pitch.
So you think in the second T20I, Pakistan underscored?
I did think Pakistan. I think Pakistan towards the middle, like the middle order, played slowly. Rizwan gave a slow start. That's
I think he played 11 balls.
13 balls for 11 runs,
There
and
we go.
then Usman Khan 5 balls, 3 runs. Tayyib Tahir 6 balls, 6 runs. I think if those guys clicked a bit better, we would have gotten to like 220 maybe.
That's about 4 overs right there. 13 plus 5 is 15. Yeah, about 3.5 overs there, where if you just capitalize on that, you could hit 230, 235.
Yeah, so Rizwan, Usman, Tayyib scored 20 runs off of
24?
24 balls.
24 deliveries.
Yeah, so if they just like scored 35 off those 24 balls, it could have been a different story, right? Given the conditions of this ground, I do think Pakistan underscored. But Saim Ayub has shown that he's given a proper blueprint of how Pakistani batting should be in T20s. I want to also mention how I love Babar Azam's 20 ball 31.
I just want to talk about that, yes.
I would rather take Babar's 20 ball 31 than a 40 ball 50 any day of the week.
Why do you think Babar played that well in that second T20I? And does the Saim effect have anything to do with him?
There's a couple of points that people brought up to me in the thread that we had on Twitter where it said that Babar Rizwan should not be opening. And a couple of people reached out to me saying that actually when Babar Azam used to open with Fakhar Zaman in the Sarfaraz era, he was a different batter. Like he would play at a higher strike rate. And it made me think that maybe if Babar opens and he has attacking players around him, it would also help him play his own game. And that's exactly what he does in Peshawar Zalmi. He's made the batting order where it's just attacking batsmen around him. He goes or he anchors, and oftentimes he will push the accelerator towards the end of the innings and sort of match up his runs with the balls. So I think it was because of how Saim was playing, it was because of how flat the pitch was, how small the ground was, that it gave Babar Azam the opportunity to go out there and play his game.
Year 2019, his strike rate is 137. Year 2021, his strike rate is 144.
One more thing to notice is that Babar Azam has been playing T20s for the past 8 years. And this year, the year 2024, he has scored the most sixes he has in any year he's played T20. So a deliberate effort to improve his power hitting, to improve his stroke range. And the only way I think to improve your strike rate is to improve your boundary percentage and specifically your six hitting.
Yeah, I agree. He hit 26s this year, and that's the highest. Second highest is 17 in the year 2021.
Yeah,
which I think he was player of the tournament at that.
The one sad thing I read on Twitter recently was Mazhar Arshad's tweet.
Which was?
And Mazhar Arshad said that I can guarantee you, as long as Rizwan and Babar are playing cricket internationally, they will play in the top 3. Regardless of you bring back Imran Nazir, you bring back Saeed Anwar, they would likely go in the middle order, like lower order. So he said as long as Babar and Rizwan are playing, they're playing as top 3 batsmen. So Saim Ayub is locked in at the opener spot. The other person will likely be Rizwan, because if Rizwan is not opening, he does not fit in the team. I think he does not fit in the team as an opener. But when he's captain, he's gonna send himself as to open.
So then what if in a scenario management comes in and is like, this Rizwan, this T20 thing isn't working. We've lost 3-0 against Australia. The other brand new captain won 2-1 against Zimbabwe, but it was a young team. And then we lost 2-0 against South Africa again. I don't think it's working, buddy. I think we gotta sit you out. Is that the only way that Rizwan steps down from that number 2 spot?
Well, in that case, you would be pushed out, not step down. One of our friends today messaged us. He said that the PCB is oftentimes very smart in who they give captaincy to, because sometimes they give captaincy to a person whose career they want to ruin. And he thinks that Rizwan's days as captain of white ball, or at least T20s, is numbered.
Yeah, and I think that's totally fair. But that's a call that I think we've been talking about this quite loudly, even before the 2024 World Cup, where I remember on a Patreon call, even people were really surprised, where we were like, no, we're not really into the whole Rizbar situation anymore. It had its moment in time. I think it's overstated. We should move forward to it. Yeah, you were actually trying to pin me down recently, where there was a podcast that you and I did, I think in 2023, on this Backward Point channel, where I was defending Rizbar. And again, that was a point in time where I thought that there was a time and place for them, and that was right off the back of 152 for 0, right off the back of playing a final in the Melbourne Cricket Ground in 2022. And so I felt like maybe we could run with this, but their game didn't evolve. They've been stagnant. They've actually regressed. They've gone the other way. And I'm at a point here where I'm saying, break them up.
And also how other teams have evolved, right?
We talked about this recently, and in our previous podcast, if you guys haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. We actually went on a really good analysis, deep analysis, where we just talked about what other teams in the world are doing, the top 7 teams, and what we're doing as Pakistan cricket openers, and what we need to do next.
I do think the next thing we need to do is talk about Usman Khan.
Oh, I'm ready to
Because
do that.
there's enough discourse, there's enough evidence right now to say that probably he's not international material. I've been hesitant to make this statement in the past few podcasts. I've been on the edge. I know you've been quite vocal about his place and how he plays and what his technique is like. I do recall seeing him bat against Islamabad United in the final, and there was a clear plow against him to ball short stuff, to ball at high pace, and he struggled. I remember he even got hit in the arm. Was it by Tamil Mills or was it Naseem Shah? But he had a band on his arm. So the point is that Usman Khan is a good batsman of bad bowling. And in international cricket, you do not get bad bowling. Oftentimes you get extremely exceptional bowling, and you get bowlers who get video analysis, data analysis of what strengths and weaknesses are of batsmen. And I think there is enough sample size of Usman Khan batting in the PSL, in the ILT20, for UAE cricket, and now for Pakistan, that they can say that these are his hot zones, don't ball here. These are his good zones. Weak zones, make sure you keep targeting here. And I think if he keeps playing for Pakistan further on, he will get further exposed. And I think it is best to just request the UAE cricket to take him back, or I don't know, deport him, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but Usman Khan's days are completely numbered. That I can say that for sure. I mean, I've been on record saying that I don't think he's fit for Pakistan cricket. I've tweeted that against Backward Point's account many times. There've been a lot of support for that. I mean, there's been voices from even the pro, Greens and pro anchor cabin where they're like, yeah, Usman Khan might not be the one. I just can't believe. I think we're going to look back in this like 18-month or 12-month era where we had Usman Khan back in the team, where we had Imad and Amir, who have just, by the way, just recently re-announced their retirement. We're going to look back and be like, what the hell was Pakistan cricket doing at that time?
And Babar taking captaincy back.
That whole run will just be looked like, we'll look back frowning on it.
Even now, it would be like, why was Rizwan T20 captain?
Yeah, I don't know if it would have changed things drastically, but a different mindset would have definitely. Maybe he would have kept Babar at long off, and just maybe that the ball doesn't go to 4 against the USA, and Pakistan actually win that game and qualify to the next round. We don't know. But all I'm saying is Usman Khan has been a tried and failed experiment. I don't even know why we put that much investment in him. Putting Usman Khan to the same level of Saim Ayub is just insane. I've heard some arguments regarding Usman Khan saying that, if you give Saim Ayub that kind of run, why not Usman? And Usman has had that run. Usman's played 18 matches for Pakistan. 18 matches this man's played for Pakistan. His average is 15. His strike rate is 122. His high score is 52, which was just recently, and he's only hit 6 sixes in his 16 innings. It's just been a horrid run for him. And I think, I feel for the guy. He made a lot of sacrifices. He left his UAE contract. He left his golden visa. Maybe he would have, acquired some sort of citizenship or PR, whatever the UAE does. He left all that to play Pakistan cricket. It was an experiment. It was, the risk was there. Babar Azam may have convinced him to do that, talk to Wahab about it. But Usman Khan should not be playing for Pakistan cricket anymore. That's just like a definitive. Like, this series has made that 100% a reality.
He's a liability, and the runs he does score are streaky. They're not convincing. He does not look the international material to me. And I don't know what sort of deal he landed with the PCB where they convinced him to leave UAE cricket and come to Pakistan. I don't know whether they're like, oh, you'll play regardless of your performances for the next 1 year, which I think is unfair towards other deserving middle order batsmen. Which, by the way, Usman Khan is a top order batsman, but because of how the Pakistan team is, he's playing at number 4. But even at number 4, he's not able to deliver. He can't play deliveries that are over 135 clicks. He can't play short stuff. And at this level, you will be tested and tried and exposed if you cannot play that sort of deliveries.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the fact that Usman Khan, who is a top order wicketkeeper batsman, we've left out Mohammad Haris, who's also a top order wicketkeeper batsman.
Or Hasibullah.
For Usman Khan. Crime against humanity.
Yeah, I think a couple of positives that we did see was Irfan Khan, and we saw that he has the ability to be a good lower order batter. But I would like to see him get more deliveries or like bat more up the order.
What do you think Irfan Khan against instead of Usman Khan at 4? What do you think about
that? Maybe Tayyip Tahir at 4 and Irfan Khan at 5.
Tayyip Tahir is another one of those people that I have not really been impressed by. He has the same, I'm no technical person. You know me. I have my own batting flaws, man.
I know you.
Yeah, like anything over the waist height, I'm completely squared up. But there was this one instance where he was trying to pull a shot. I think he got out on that delivery. Where his, how your back foot is supposed to stay parallel to the popping crease at all times, whatever shot you're playing. Your back foot, your right foot, if you're a right-hander, your right foot should not be moving. That's your ground. That's your stability for the shot. His back foot, his right foot, was facing mid-on at one point. That has to be a technical flaw, right? That cannot be just me visualizing this. It just looked ugly. It didn't look clean. The shot didn't go off as high as he wanted to. It just felt off to me. So I'm not sure about Tayyip Tahir as well. I keep coming back to the fact that we have Fakhar Zaman and Mohammad Haris waiting in the peripheries of Pakistan cricket, and nobody's touching upon them.
And actually, if you've been following the Champions Cup T20, Hussain Taras has been scoring lots of runs. He's a left-handed batsman. He used to play for Islamabad United, and then for Zalmi, then for Lahore. And he's in good form. I'm not sure how seriously we should take these Champions Cup T20 stats, but he scored a century and he scored a 50 again. He can also bowl a couple of overs. And then Haider Ali has also been scoring a lot of runs at domestic. I think he's the second highest run scorer. And Hussain Taras is number 1. High strike rates, high 6 hitting. Maybe Pakistan can look at them or just try a different combination at number 4 or 5. But definitely would like to see Irfan Khan get some more overs. He's a gun fielder. Amazing throw. Does not drop catches that frequently.
Irfan Khan, he's played 10 matches for Pakistan, scored 153 runs, 37 highest. This is where it gets very interesting. Average of 38.25, which means he goes not out a lot. And strike rate at 140. That's what we need, right? In that spot, at that 4, 5, 6 spot. That's the guy we need. So I would rather have Irfan Khan come up the order at 4 if they don't want to get somebody like Fakhar Zaman in or Mohammad Haris, and I would rather have Irfan Khan at there. But then that begs the question of who goes 5 and 6 and 7. That's a whole other rearrangement. What do you think about Salman Yaga playing against Usman Khan? Because the third T20I, even though it wasn't played, the teams were announced, and Salman Ali Agha was instead chosen for Usman Khan's position. Do you think that's a better choice, or is that just more of the same?
I think Salman Ali Agha at 4 is a lot better because so you picked him based off of his performances in the PSL, and for Islamabad United, he used to bat at number 3. So he likes playing up the order. He likes to play his shots. He's really improved his power hitting, and I think number 4 could be a good fit for him. Also, I think it's important for Pakistan to play up another all-rounder in the team because Pakistan needs a 6th bowling option. So I actually believe Pakistan need 2 things. They need a fast bowling all-rounder and Pakistan needs a spin bowling all-rounder. So either Pakistan gets in Amir Jamal in there, they get Arfat bin Haas in there. He's a left-handed batsman and left-arm spinner. Amir Jamal, we know, is
Was he in the squad, Amir Jamal, in this series or no?
I believe he was. But I feel like the Pakistan team is playing Abbas Afridi as that fast bowling all-rounder, but I don't think Abbas Afridi is a proven good batsman. Like, he can score a few sixes here and there.
He goes over Shaheen.
Which doesn't really say a lot, to be honest. I do feel Pakistan, I can do a separate podcast of Pakistan's need for a fast bowling all-rounder. India's got Pandya. They've got Nitish Kumar Reddy right now in test matches. Australia's got Marcus Stoinis. They got Cam Green. New Zealand's got Jimmy Neesham. Point is, every single team has a fast bowling all-rounder. Pakistan used to have Fahim Ashraf. We invested a lot in him. We put all of our eggs in Fahim Ashraf's basket. He was a decent bowler, but not a proven batsman at the international level, with an average of 12 or something.
Fahim Ashraf, a Champions Trophy winner.
Champions Trophy winner, correct. So Pakistan needs to groom another fast bowling all-rounder, whether that be Amir Jamal, Amir Yameen, Hussain Talat, whatever it is. We need one. We need to identify one. We need to give them chances because Pakistan lacks batting depth. The fact that Abbas Afridi is coming at number 7 shows how weak Pakistan's batting depth is. And in T20s, what I've learned by watching the PSL teams or Islamabad United is that they play a left-arm spinner all-rounder. They play a fast bowling all-rounder because you need guys who can come in at like number 7, 8, or even 9, who can come down the order, finish the innings. We've seen how impactful Imad Wasim was in the PSL, how impactful Fahim Ashraf has been for Islamabad United, how impactful recently Naseem Shah was with the bat. So you need guys who are handy with the bat, who can come in and strike a few big blows. That's why I think Pakistan needs a spin bowling all-rounder, a fast bowling all-rounder to have that batting and bowling depth, because this whole series, Pakistan did not have a 6 bowling option. Like, they didn't try a 6 bowler. It's going to be impossible for all your 5 bowlers to have a good day together. So when that happens, you need to have a 6 bowling option. And remember, Pakistan's T20 team 10 years ago, when Muhammad Hafiz used to play, just having him in the white ball squad gave Pakistan so much of a better balance. Like, you could bowl 10 overs in ODIs, you could bowl 4 overs against left-handers in T20s, and same thing when Iftikhar was playing. So Pakistan needs to identify maybe Saman Ali Agha is that guy to bat number 4 and ball off spin, or Arfat bin Haas is that guy to bowl left-arm spin and left-handed batsman. So these things need to be identified and addressed ASAP.
I hardly ever agree with Ramiz, but Ramiz kept saying during the second T20I that why isn't Rizwan trying my boy Saim Ayub out? I mean, he's having a good day with the bat. You know, that kind of luck, that kind of momentum maybe transfers over. Maybe he get an over or 2 out of him. Because Haris Rauf went for 4 overs, 57. Abbas Afridi went for 3.3 overs, 46. There was definitely space where maybe you could take a Haris Rauf over out and then Abbas Afridi over out and try Saim Ayub. Maybe because Abrar went for 4 overs and 29. And Saim Ayub and Abrar, I'm not saying they're the same class of bowlers, but they're same finger spinners, you know, turn the ball both ways. They both have control. And that actually just kind of oils Saim's gears when it comes to bowling internationally against great opposition. Maybe he gets whacked. Who knows? But maybe he takes a wicket or 2 and gives that breakthrough. There was a partnership in the middle there between Riza Hendricks and Rasiwan Reducin that just went on and on and on and on. Pakistan lost the game there. 165 run partnership between them. And you could try things in there. I think that's where Rizwan kind of dropped the ball. Haris Rauf had a very, very bad series. Right off the hinges of winning Player of the Month last month in November, he just comes out and has some of the worst bowling that I've ever seen. What happened there?
Maybe he's looking to eye for the worst Player of the Month in December.
Yeah. Well, is that a thing?
Maybe he could make it a thing. But yeah, Haris Rauf outside of Australia, different bowler, guys. Different bowler. I just think but Pakistan's strategy the second match was it got too predictable. Like, they bowled way too many slower deliveries and back of the hand deliveries.
40% of all Pakistan deliveries were slow deliveries.
Yeah, so definitely a strategic plan. But I felt like at some point it got too predictable. And Haris Rauf, I think, is vastly experienced at this level now. He's been playing for Pakistan for close to 5 years now in T20s. So he should know better. He should have better variations, and he should be able to adapt to scenarios in a better manner. Definitely not up to par with his recent bowling performances in this series.
Rauf had a terrible series. I don't think he took a wicket this entire series. He bowled 8 overs and just got whacked all around. He got 57 in this match, right? Wait, let me just double check this. Sorry, 51. Oh, no, wait. Where did it go? Yeah, 57 in this game. And then I just want to check the first T20I as well. I think he got hit for over 40 in that one as well. So just like a really bad outing for him in South Africa, which I want to know how different the pitches are between South Africa and Australia. They're both bouncy. They're both punchy. If you're a fast bowler with some kind of pace, you get advantage of that. So why is it that Australia is really benefiting Haris Rauf's bowling, but South Africa isn't?
Because he plays the Big Bash in Australia, and he does not get picked in the SA20.
Vibes. Haris Rauf 4 for 41 in that. So in 8 overs, he got hit for 98 runs without taking a wicket in 8 overs. That's really bad. How do you defend that? But Haris Rauf, who just won Player of the Tournament, like literally
Player of the Month.
Player of the Month literally a week ago. Monumental in that series win for Pakistan. And I think I'm man of the series in that game. Series, right?
Was.
I don't know, man. How do you go from one day being like that bowler and then coming out and getting smacked by these little kids, like a South Africa B team, some were saying? I'm just at a loss of words.
Yeah, I think this definitely was their B or even C team because I would say half their guys from the 2024 T20 World Cup final were missing. Aiden Markram was missing. David Miller was injured the last game. Rabada was not there. Norkia was not there. Mark Jansen was not there. Dabre Shamsi was on the bench. So definitely an experimental series for South Africa. I feel like if Pakistan could experiment more, we could have gotten better results. But all in all, very happy for Saim. Wish him more success.
This is probably the only time that we've lost a series where I'm coming out this positive. And again, Saim Ayub effect, man.
I'm just happy that people finally now realize that Rizbar are the problem. And just one example of how you know they're a problem is that in the last 3 years, Pakistan has changed n number of middle order batsmen, but Rizbar stay the same. So is the problem with the middle order batsman or is the problem with Rizbar? Because they're the constants in this team, and we've wasted far too many talented players going in and out of the team, and Rizbar have stayed the same. It is now time we realize this, that Rizwan and Babar cannot open together, that one of them have to go.
Lovely, lovely take, Bashar. I think this is, gets me invigorated for the ODI series, which is the more important series with the Champions Trophy right around the corner. I think this ODI series will be one that I'll be watching very closely, even though it's going to be, I think it'll be at a good time for us. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it is. We're going to watch that. We'll try to do a podcast after every ODI.
Yeah.
We're trying to aim for more consistency and more frequent episode launches. So once it's done recorded, we sometimes wait till it's like 9 a.m. here in Canada.
Yeah, that's our posting time, right? 9 a.m.
But I guess we'll try to just release it once it's ready.
Sure, yeah.
One last thing, Amir Ahmad retired. We cannot do a new episode on their retirement. We've done one in the past.
Just rewatch that.
I will just link it right here, and you can watch that episode with our thoughts on Imad Wasim retiring.
Yes, lovely legends of the game in their own rights. Is Imad Wasim also a Champions Trophy winner?
Yes, Imad Wasim, the only bowler who has handed AB de Villiers a golden duck in ODIs.
There we go. What more to say about the legend himself? Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This is Backward Point signing out. Thank you for listening. Check out the socials. Check out all this stuff in the description below. If you guys are listening on Spotify, don't forget to leave a review. We got 100 reviews on Spotify. 101, average 4.8.
Let's go.
4.8 stars. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. And subscribe, like, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.